Hi and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm back in Sweden from our vacation in Spain, and it's actually the last weekend of this holiday, and I thought we need to talk about the stock market, and today we're gonna aim at talking about AMD, a very interesting stock that has performed very good lately, and I want to analyze the fundamentals of the company, the latest quarterly results, to see is this stock just pumped to higher levels, or is it something fundamental behind the rise of the stock? And what about the future? Is it time to maybe sell the stock, or are AMD positioned well towards the future? So yeah, let's start directly with the latest quarter and what I think about it. It was $7.7 billion in revenue, and that was actually above the estimates of Wall Street, so that's a good start. The company performing better than what the experts thought they would. And as an investor, if you were invested before, that type of quarter, that is positive for you because you did see something that Wall Street did not recognize, and you kept your belief in the company, and they overperformed. So that's a good thing if you are an investor. And why did they overperform? Well, I would say the most hype now is in the data center and AI chips production. That's the future for AMD, where the biggest money are waiting for them. That is what has driven Nvidia to being the world's most highest valued company, or whatever you want to say it. But this quarter, that wasn't the main thing that drive the revenue to those highs, I would say, because the AI and data center was quite close to the estimates. What I would say, based on in comparison with a year ago, they really outperformed in the gaming segment, where they had $1.1 billion in revenues, more than 70% increase compared to last year. I did a video earlier this year about their new GPU graphic card chips, and how I thought this was a great product for AMD. They haven't really released any good graphic cards lately, and they actually did this year. And this has driven their performance in the gaming segment a lot. And also they have some collaborations with Sony, Xbox, etc., and they are producing their consoles during summertime just to sell them later on during the year. So I guess the demand for these type of products has also been good. So yeah, the classic graphic cards for performance computing, and also the collaborations with Microsoft and Sony for the PlayStation and the Xbox Series has performed good. Also, the client business has been great, where they sell personal computers, etc., both to companies but also to private persons. They have performed very good with their CPUs, the Ryzen series. They are market leaders here, and also has increased their GPU share here with a lot of AI solutions, etc. So here I think that it was 67% up year over year, $2.5 billion in revenue. So the client segment and the gaming segment, $3.6 billion. That's almost half of the revenue of AMD this quarter. So you should not just talk about AI chips with AMD. They have really outperformed the expectations in these type of businesses also, which should be celebrated. I think if you are roaring for the company to perform good and do good. So great job from Lisa Su and the other leadership in the company. And as a shareholder, we are glad to see the type of revenue gains we have seen here. Amazing, actually. The other thing, what they talked about a lot during the earnings call, is the future of their AI offerings. At the moment, they are selling a lot of the MI300 series, and it has performed good the last year. It has driven the stock price up. But now it's time for the MI350 GPUs to really start to ramp up production, starting to add revenue next quarter and the last quarter of 2025. And the MI350 series is a really strong and competitive chip, on par with a lot of NVIDIA's most sold products, and this will really help to drive the revenue up. And as they talked about during the earnings call, the total revenue and addressable market is what AMD are aiming for at the moment. It's not just about net income, it's about taking market share from other companies, and they hope with the offering they have here with the MI350 series that they can increase their market share in the data center segment. And I wouldn't say that I'm an expert. I haven't worked at NVIDIA or AMD, but I have listened to a lot of earnings call and both listened to Lisa Su and Jensen, and I have performed my own type of research in this area, and I feel like they are getting really close to the offerings that NVIDIA has. The thing with AMD that is compelling is they have a similar type of products in terms of performance, but they are very energy efficient. So that's a good thing, and that is something that Lisa Su has talked about a lot. I've also seen some investor days where they invite, for example, the CEO of Microsoft, and he told us that in the future it will be hard for the companies to have enough energy for the data centers. They are growing so fast and the energy demand is so high, and basically the energy supply in the world is not growing at the same time. So having energy efficient chips is really a big part of the future. And this is not where NVIDIA is at its best. NVIDIA has the highest performing chips, the best chips, but in terms of energy efficiency, I think AMD has really seen something here that they can gain a lot of market share in, because if they have almost as good chips in terms of performance, but a lot more energy efficient, then they can deploy data centers with a lot more chips in it that doesn't get as hot and doesn't use as much energy, and through that and the bigger picture, they can actually perform better and do the task that the biggest companies like Meta and Microsoft need to do. They can actually get more performance per dollar, and that is what it's all about if I've listened to this type of investor days. So I'm really glad to see AMD taking big steps here, closing in on NVIDIA in their offering, and also what I've heard, they can undercut NVIDIA in pricing sometimes, and through that also gain market share. And when you hear a company gaining market share through having cheaper price or undercutting price, you need to analyze the gross margin to see, are they offering good enough price in comparison with what it costs for them to gain customers for that price. And if the gross margins gets too low, then maybe they are gaining customers, but they won't being able to turn that into net income in the long term. And net income is very important, and free cash flow is very important if you want your stock price and your shareholders to be happy. But when we analyze the gross margin, AMD are over 40%, and if you don't recognize the inventory write down, they had a lot of chips that are supposed to be sold to China that wasn't sold, so that was about an $800 million hit in the latest quarter. If you don't talk about that, they have about 54% gross margin, and that is very high. It's not NVIDIA levels, but it's still very high. It means they can sell their products for a lot of money. They have a strong IP in the products, a lot of knowledge going into their products, and people and companies especially are paying for it. So that's a really good sign for AMD long term that the gross margin are improving. And during the earnings call, there were a lot of the questions from the people there asking questions, like Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs, etc., was about the gross margin and whether or not the expansion of their MI350 chips will, in the short term, make the gross margins be weaker. But AMD wasn't really afraid about that, and they sounded really confident about their product lines. So I was quite pleased to hear how confident Lisa Su was during the earnings call here. And they told they are ramping up the production of AMI 350 chips. And it 1 month earlier than expected, and hopefully we will see the revenue gains from that. And also, as an investor, it's important to know that the $800 million that they was written down, that means that they took that in the results the latest quarter, making the net income a lot worse and the margin a lot worse. But if they can actually sell some of that to China anyway, and has already taken a hit on $800 million, that will be a massive boost on top of the estimate that the company did for the third quarter this year. So that could be a boost of maybe not 800 million, but $600 million for the next quarters, maybe the third or the fourth quarter. And that would be massive, because they said, the third quarter will be go from $7.7 billion to between $8.4 and $9 billion. And if you add some revenue to China, then maybe they can push that to $9.4, $9.5 billion. And I think that will make the reaction on that earnings call really, really positive. And often when you outperform estimates, an estimation with so much, that can really make a significant push on the share price. And why am I saying that they might start to sell to China? Well, just last week, the US government and AMD, NVIDIA said that they have a collaboration and an agreement that 15% of the revenue from the sales to China will go to the government, and the rest will count as revenue for the companies. And going from 0 to 85% is really good in this type of calculation, because even though it's not 100% of the $800 million that they were supposed to sell to China through their MI308 chips, it's still, $650 million, and that will be massive. Then we have also heard that maybe China are telling the companies, do not buy from AMD, do not buy for NVIDIA, to scare them. But I think a lot of companies will still buy the products, because it's really compelling products that they are selling to China, and the companies needs them to push for the AI race. So I don't know if that is really the truth, or just something that the China press are pushing out there to send some type of signal. So that is very fascinating for the future. And this takes us to the next question. Should you sell your AMD stock at the moment? And this is always a personal choice. When I do this video, I just speaking through my opinion, my experience, and how I am in terms of investing. But you should know that everyone has their own personal finances and situations, and maybe you need to liquidate your stocks to have cash on hand to whatever, pay your bills, or invest your money in some businesses or whatever. You never know where your money are put best at the moment. I don't know, but you may know where you should put your money. So I can't say that anyone just should keep the money still in the stock market, etc. Also, you never know if it will be like a massive global phenomenon like the COVID-19 that will push the stock market straight down, etc. But in terms of performance and stock and the future market, I feel very confident to keep my AMD shares here. I feel like this is a really, really long-term investing thesis for me, investing in AMD, not just for this year or the next year. I think it's like 10-15 years horizon at least. And when I have that long-term perspective, I feel like it's very easy for me just to keep on hold on my stocks. I don't get nervous if the stock is down 10% or up 10%, because I know that in the long term, the stock will perform if it follows the thesis that I have analyzed for myself. Because often when I do an analysis of a stock long term, I feel like if the stock can still have the same price per sale, basically if they increase their revenues and the stock price at the same type of pace, the price per revenue or per sale will still be, like, for example, a 10x factor. And if in the future that I feel like they will grow their revenue with, for example, 400%, then I need to readjust the price per sale and see what kind of stock price that will be. So I've done a fast analysis of the AI market, and it's around $130 billion at the moment, and I think around 2030 it will be around $400 billion. And AMD has a big percentages of that, 5 to 10%. And I think they are improving, they are gaining traction, and in comparison with NVIDIA, their products are getting closer or are as good. And just adding all this puzzle together, I feel like it's such a massive opportunity to invest in AMD long term. We have seen what has happened with the share price of NVIDIA. If AMD can perform and do as good as they are doing and continue to do that long term, I feel like the upside from today, where they are under $300 billion in market share, why can't they go 5x to $1.5 trillion in 5 to 10 years? I feel like it's possible if they gain a percentage of the AI market as it grows, and they are like the second best company in the world, and they are closing in and might in the future be the best company in the world, even though it's hard to know. So if the AI market gets to $400 billion and AMD gets 20%, that's $80 billion just in AI, and then they have the other revenue streams also going on. So if they have, for example, $100 billion in revenue, that should mean that they can be over $1 trillion market cap for AMD. But obviously this is speculation, and the speculation of how much the AI market will grow is also like estimates from big banks, etc. It's very, very hard to predict where it's all heading, but we can see that it's just a massive movement for AI for every single company out there, and I think it might grow even faster than some of these estimates are saying. And if AMD keep improving their products as they do, they will really have a great spot there with a massive gain in the share price. So that is why I'm willing to invest a part of the biggest part of my portfolio in this company. But as I said, you're always responsible for your investments, and you never know what's happening with the company or with the market as a whole, or with, for example, NVIDIA. They might suddenly release a massive product that just takes the market by storm and decreasing AMD's potential, etc. So you never know for sure. You have to, if you invest, you need to understand that nothing is certain. So that's that. And also, just before I end this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about their most interesting product. That's the MI400 series, the Helios rack. It's coming 2026 and is their most compelling product yet. When I listen to Lisa Sue's, she actually says that this might be the best product in the market, and this is in the market of data centers, where the market where NVIDIA has really became the biggest company in the world. So if you can have the best product in the most important market in the world, if we analyze the marketplace through market cap and potential for stock price, they might just make something extremely, what can I say, shock the world during 2026 and 2027. And that might just shake up the stock price in a way we can't even fathom at the moment. So I feel like that's a little small possibility that will happen if I analyze how they are speaking about this MI400 Helios rack product, and I feel it's worth a shot to have some of my money in AMD based on that enormous upside. Obviously, it's a downside also, like all investing, but I don't want to miss out on that potential. And they are actually saying that a lot of customers, the biggest ones, are already looking towards 2026 and 2027 for these new MI400 products that are being produced and being developed. And they are also saying that everything are going according to plan with the development of the MI400 series, the GPUs there. And also Lisa Su just accidentally maybe said that the AI revenue for them in the future will be tens of billions of dollars. So at the moment, I think they have around $10 to $12 billion in AI revenue, and the CEO said in the future we will have tens of billions of dollars. She said that during the earnings call, and she is quite often lowballing what they are going to perform and earn. So that was something that I just kept my interest high, and that made me feel very, very good about AMD. So yeah, do your own due diligence as always, but this is what my take was for AMD at the moment, and I don't feel like I'm gonna sell AMD stock anytime soon, but you have to always ask yourself if you're willing to put money in the market at the moment, because you can never be 100% sure that it's always upside for you, and you might need your money more somewhere else. So yeah, that's everything for today, and thank you for tuning in.